Entrepreneur's Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, so the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, and how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneur's Enigma. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneur's Enigma podcast. I'm, as always, Seth, your host. Today I have Christian Hammer, who goes by Hammer. But I think he's got one of the coolest names, Christian Hammer. Like, think about that. That's just, it's a cool name. And Christian is the CEO and founder of Vala AI. He is the president of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Island County. He lives on an island in just out of Seattle. He's not Dr. No. He's not evil. He's actually a very sweet guy. He has a podcast that I was on called Techtastic. It was a lot of fun. We met via Podmatch, which is a really cool service for pairing up guests and hosts and all that stuff. And he's at the height of the AI revolution now. He's worked for companies like Nike and like big name people, like big name. The guy knows his stuff. Let's just say that much. He's been through the corporate rigmarole. He does his own thing. He's a very talented artist that likes to draw crabs. I've noticed on his website, c-hammer.com, and kois and other stuff. But I think the last three were crabs. So let's bring Hammer in here. How's it going, buddy?
Seth, lovely to be here, man. Yeah, the last four I think were crabs, and actually there's another one I just finished with crabs on it too. But it's a thing.
It's a thing. I mean, you're on the coast, so what do you have? Crabs.
Yeah, I'm on an island. They have a Dungeness Crab Festival here. So actually, it happened because somebody looked at some of my sketchbook weirds, and they're like, "Man, you should draw crabs. Crabs sell." And I was like, "Well, I don't want to draw crabs because they sell, but crabs are creepy, and I want to draw those." So I started drawing crabs. Yeah,
that's so funny. That's hilarious. So you've worked for big companies, and you've moved your way up in big companies, and you've done a lot of things. If anyone says you're bored, it would be not true, because I think you keep yourself plenty busy. So much, but you are not Dr. No. You're not evil. At least I don't think you have a missile base in your backyard or anything like that, and Bond's gonna come get you or anything like that. So
yeah, no comment. Yeah,
no comment. Oh, there we go. Hey. Yeah. And also your podcast is really good too. So I really enjoy that. So I enjoy being on it. So how did this all get started? Have you always wanted to be an entrepreneur? Have you always just been into technology? Like, what's the origin story of Hammer here?
The origin story. Now, see, this is where we get back into being a supervillain again, right? So when I was really young, my parents will tell a story, and actually my brother tells it best, but I was in daycare, and so whatever that age is, and I learned how to make the origami throwing stars and some other origami things, and kids started paying me for them, like their lunch money. And I started paying other kids to make them for me, made a little catalog, got other kids selling for me. I actually had set up, it wasn't just the daycare center I was in, it was the elementary schools and stuff that are around the area. We had a little distribution network going on, and got in trouble for it. Like they were like, you can't sell stuff to other kids like that. That's, they don't have money for milk or lunch or whatever. But I did pivot right away. Like they said, you can't sell. They didn't tell me I couldn't charge to teach them how to do it. So we started doing that next. But I kind of remember it, but when, I don't know how old I was probably in high school when I really got into computers. The first time I really got to sit down with one, I was in fourth grade, and you got to be like, the computer was a new thing. And, this weird guy would come in with a cart and the computer would be on it. And, they'd let us have access to it. And so first I was playing like Oregon Trail, like every other kid in my generation. And then I was like, wait, you can do things. You can make this do things. All you have to do is learn this like programming language. That seems pretty cool. And pretty quickly got to feel like I was a wizard of this new world, this world that only existed in the computer. I could create magic that others couldn't. And that arcane knowledge and that that power that came from being a wizard was really, stimulating, we'll say.
Yeah.
Um, and in high school, I started really thinking about what that would mean. Now, this was before the internet existed in its current form. Oh, the World Wide Web existed. The World Wide Web did not exist. The internet did. We had,
Oh, the
AOL.
internet's way older than you. Yeah, exactly. Internet, the
Yeah,
BBSs, you had to dial into just
yeah,
a system kinda thing, yeah.
yeah. You'd telnet into somebody's box, or you'd do whatever you were. And I was doing some stuff then. I was writing Perl CGI applications for, and getting people were paying me to do it. So I was getting ready to go off to university, and I thought I was going to go into the software, like package
Yeah.
software, ship it on CD-ROMs and discs kind of world.
Remember those?
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what I prepared for. But I also didn't think that was a real job.
Hmm.
Because that whole wizard thing, like we were having fun with it. It was a game. Um, I really thought it was something I would continue to do as a hobby, maybe do some little freelance stuff, but it would be adjacent to my career. And my career was going to be as an architect, not a software architect, a design
Like,
buildings
actual
architect.
drafting architect, like I am pay and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But thankfully, I was at university at exactly the right time. Mosaic browser came into the world. The World Wide Web happened, and I was ready for it. I
Oh,
said,
that's
"Wait,
awesome.
there's an opportunity now." So I started my
Light
first
bulb.
real,
Yeah.
yeah, which was Decaf Studios. I doubt there's any reference to it left unless you go back onto like the deep web, searches. But we did type one websites for companies that were asking for it. The
Mhm.
original Web one stuff,
Web
and
1,
kind of went
yeah.
from there. I did a
That's
bunch
wild.
through 2001. I think is when we closed the incubator, when the dot bomb
Yeah,
implosion
bubble burst,
happened.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'd had a couple good rides along the way, and that's when I jumped into the big companies kind of in earnest. I kind of gone back and forth. I went to a big company, and then I went to Banfield, the pet hospital, which was just starting
Mhm.
up, and we had like, I think there was like 50 locations when I joined, and when I left there was 2,000. We
Wow,
sold
that's how about growth?
Oh yeah, yeah. We sold it to Mars, the candy bar company. Like they also own most
Yeah.
pet food companies. Um, and then did Extremes, like which was a bunch of vertically integrated uh, extreme sports online retailers. Uh,
That's fun. Yeah.
then went off to another big company. I think I went to Nike, and then I kind of went back and forth. And
You had fun,
kind of
yeah.
great. Yeah. My resume, you look at my LinkedIn profile, it's kind of nuts. It's like, what the hell? He's over here, he's doing something big, and then he's doing his own thing, and then he's over here.
Yeah,
One of my favorite
AppNexus.
startups.
I remember AppNexus. They were like a Web 2.0 darling.
Oh yeah, a big ad tech platform,
Yeah.
AppNexus. Not as
Wayfair.
big as Google, yeah,
Yeah.
but we
AppNexus,
sold to
I remember
AT&T.
going to their offices in New York for a Web 2.0 day where it was like a scavenger hunt. You go between offices and get snacks and swag and stuff like that.
Did you ever come to one of the AppNexus Razzles?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it's too bad. Those were it was like demo day at Apple, or I can't remember what they called
Yeah, I
their
never
demo day
it
now.
was on the West Coast. I've never been to the West Coast. I've been as far west as Wyoming. We're gonna take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show.
Well, we did these big razzles in New York, and they were
Oh, you
fantastic.
did? I never went,
Yeah.
no. Oh,
Oh,
shucks.
yeah. Oh well. I mean, I don't think AT&T kept that tradition alive after they acquired us, but
Yeah, I don't think
yeah,
yeah.
did that. And then, then went to Wayfair through their big growth phase.
Yeah,
Uh, was pulled away by IBM and AP Moeller Maersk for their joint venture called TradeLens. Uh, we shut that down because it was there's a long story there, but ultimately it's part of Maersk today. And
there you
then
go.
started on the new one, which is Vol AI, which has been a blast so far, and we're on a great trajectory already.
It's a Vala AI. You're essentially trying to automate software development with AI, which is,
I
like, really
Yeah,
neat.
we were.
Oh, you were,
I
you're
think that
pivoting
we're
again.
Yeah, yeah. I think that it's still a decent description of what we're doing, but we're really automating technical operations. It's
Ooh,
all
even
this,
fancier.
yeah, all this stuff that happens in a large organization with a lot of technology that kind of gets left to the sidelines that nobody really wants to deal with,
Yeah.
like dependency management and upgrades, your security
Yeah, we'll get to
patching,
that
like
we'll
some,
get to that at some point. We'll get to that at some point kind of thing. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, we automate all that, so you don't have to worry about it anymore.
"Oh, that's great. So you found a niche that you're not gonna, like, piss people off in. That's awesome.
That's right, and yeah, we have people saying, "Please give me," not "Please keep the hell out." Yeah,
Please don't. Please, please." Exactly, that's awesome. And then you
yeah,
also do the Big Brothers Big Sisters, which is really good, giving back to kids who need it and stuff.
yeah.
That's fantastic.
I was the Big Brother of the Year. I've got a thing over there about it in 2013, and for me, that I mean, I love to talk about Big Brothers because it's such a great program.
Mhm.
I was I wasn't raised wealthy or anything. I was raised like lower middle class, and then moving into like middle class. And so
Mhm.
I had parents with strong work ethic that demonstrated it all the time. And so for me, the view of the world was, if you just put in enough, if you just try hard enough, you're gonna make something for yourself.
Yeah.
Because that was the world I saw. That was the reality for me, right?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
my wife and I didn't have kids, chose not to. And when there was a point, I don't know how old I was, but there was a point where she could tell I was missing something about that helping a younger person find a direction in
Yeah.
life
You don't
piece.
wanna keep them. You don't wanna be stuck with them, but you wanna help them out. Exactly.
That's right. That's right. And so she talked me into becoming a big brother, and that was a big eye opener. It,
That's awesome.
my little was from a part of town that I would not have gone into before that point in time. It would have been scary.
Yeah.
He came from a background with a totally different perspective. Like
He
his
taught
dad was
you
in
they taught
prison.
you as much they taught you as much as you taught them.
I think he taught me more because that whole pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality that I was raised with is complete fucking bullshit. Sorry for the language, right?
No, it's fine. Go for it.
But
I
it
was putting
is.
some tag on here, but it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, stand here, grab a hold of your boots and lift yourself off the ground. Good luck with
You
that.
can't. Sometimes you
It takes
can't. Sometimes everything's against you. You just can't.
Yeah, and if you come from a perspective of my dad's in prison my entire life, my mom's, on disability, my brother's now in prison, my younger sisters are like running the streets and stuff like that. If you come from that, and the only thing that you've ever seen that is success is dealing drugs on the corner because that's where somebody gets some money, how
Yeah.
the hell are you ever going to how are you
You
going
can
to find
lift
your way
yourself
anywhere
up by
else?
bootstraps. Exactly.
Right. Your bootstraps don't even
Oh,
exist.
it's
You don't have them. Yeah.
mhm.
So it
That's great.
opened my eyes to that. But Isaac went off to he got a full ride scholarship to Lehigh University along
Ooh,
with a
by
bunch of
me.
others.
Yeah.
Yeah, ended up getting a PhD in I don't remember what the heck it's about programming life to do things we want it to do, but as a PhD from the University of Chicago in that. Uh, Brilliant kid, but because of his
He
coming to
needed
my
help.
house for the first time, right, and seeing a new perspective and having that person that he could ask questions of was huge, huge for him.
Yeah, I
But
bet.
man, it taught me so much more about the world than I knew.
That's awesome. So what in
Yeah,
your mind is the best thing about being an entrepreneur? Because you've done intrapreneur, you've done extrapreneur. I always say extrapreneur. You always done entrepreneur. You've done like you've been all over the damn place. What's the best thing about
yeah.
being an entrepreneur in your mind?
You're taking a bet on yourself. You're not, taking a bet on a team of somebody else's idea about somebody else's plan. It's fully on you, and it is your
Mm,
chance to go and prove to the world if that's what you need. But for me, it's about proving to myself that yeah, I can do this. I can build that thing. I can solve that problem. I can make the world a better place in this way.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
It's
then on
also
the
the hardest
flip
part about it.
side, what's on the flip side? What keeps you up at night?
Oh
Being an
man.
entrepreneur.
Uh, am I like I think there's a misperception, and if you've done this a bunch of times, that you've built some confidence and that you know exactly what you're doing. And I have some confidence. I do think I know mostly what I'm doing, but there's a lot of self doubt that comes into every decision you make. Because
Yeah.
sometimes, I mean, I'm a big proponent of don't make a decision you don't have to make. Wait
Mhm.
if you can, right? And trying to create a situation and where optionality maintains. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes a door can't be left open. You've got to close it.
Yeah.
And when you hit those moments and hit those decisions, there's I don't know anybody that doesn't have self-doubt. Did I make the right
Yeah.
call there? Right?
Mhm.
That's the type of thing that usually keeps me up. Did I make the right call there? Maybe it's a hiring decision, maybe it's a product decision, maybe it's a go to market decision. It doesn't matter. It's things like that.
Yeah.
Currently, it's like one of the pivots we made, I think, is brilliant, but it's also like puts us in the firing line of some really large companies. And
Mhm.
that, that's the thing. Like, how are we going fast enough that we're going to stay ahead of their development? Are we going to piss them off in such a way that they're going to come after us versus partner and engage with us, right? So
I
it's
love it,
it's that
yeah.
type of thing right now. Yeah.
So
But
then what is the
I
most
mean,
important? Yeah, go ahead.
let's say generally speaking, though, it's that I'm going to leave this world and it won't be any better for me having been
Mm.
here. Like, you only get
I
this
think
one
I think
trip.
what
This
you've done
one
with
thing.
Isaac alone has made it so you made it left it better than it was before because helping without the kid along. He's now has a PhD for crying out loud. That's
Well,
a
and
pretty
I
big
hope
win,
that's
dude.
enough. Yeah.
That's a pretty big win. I mean, like, going from, like, not being able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and all that bullshit to being able to literally pull yourself up by your pull yourself up by your bootstraps with some help from Hammer here, and having the motivation and having the stableness of having someone in your life that isn't going through turmoil. I mean, that's huge.
And it's how can you do more of that? That's why I got involved with the Big Brothers program further and try to grow that program. So yeah,
It's great. So what is the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
I think your friends, like, find people that you trust. You don't have to trust them implicitly on absolutely everything, but finding that group of people that you can trust and carrying them with you wherever you go. I mean, we are,
Yeah.
as human beings, I think of ourselves as like we would even the great apes, orangutans and all those are tribal. They have their group,
Yeah.
their family group, right? We evolved that way. We are tribal, and finding that tribe and carrying it with you is what makes us human. And without it, we, we're not. I don't think we're mentally healthy if we don't have that group of
Mhm.
friends, that tribe to
You need
carry
that
with you.
core,
So
even if it's small. Like, just having a few good friends is better than having none at all, you know what I mean?
absolutely,
That's awesome. So, Hammer, where can people find you online? Where's your big watering hole? Is it LinkedIn? Is it your website?
LinkedIn. We try
LinkedIn.
to.
You're
I
pretty active
update
on there.
there. Yeah, the company Vala updates there. The other great place would be listen to the podcast. You can find
Yeah,
it at
fantastic.
techtastic.tech. You can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. That's Tech Tac. It's
It's good.
Techtastic.
It's fantastic and it's quick too. Like this podcast, you can get through it in a commute off the island
We,
in your case.
that's right. You don't. Well, I don't know if you can get off the island in 15 minutes, but you can try.
You can get started on your travel off the island. Well,
You
Hammer,
can
this
get
has
in
been
line
so
to
much
get on a boat. You get off the island. Yeah.
exactly, the boat's where the bottleneck is. But buddy, this has been so great having you on, my friend. I'm so glad we got to do
Yeah.
this. And guess what?
Same. So
Yes, and we'll see
yeah,
everyone next time.
awesome.
That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneurs Enigma, please review us in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps other podcast listeners find our show. If you're looking for other podcasts in the marketing space, look no further than the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode.